Hello, my name is Layla. Welcome to our program, RM Bacon Elementary Podcast. Today we are broadcasting live from RM Bacon School. We have three fabulous guests. I'd like to introduce them now. Our first guest is our principal, Dr. Cook. Our next guest is our superintendent, Dr. Gentile. Our final guest is our assistant superintendent, Dr. Moore. Welcome to our podcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'll start. Of course, I'm Dr. Cook. I'm the principal here at Bacon Elementary School. I've been here for about a year and a half, and really excited to be here today in our first ever podcast. And I want to make sure to welcome everyone who's out there in cyberspace watching us to our school.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Gentile, and I'm the superintendent of schools here in Millville. I'm very excited to be here with you today. As you know, Bacon School was my school when I was growing up, so it's nice to be home and back with the Bacon Bears. So thank you for having me.
I'm Dr. Moore. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, formerly Principal of Silver Run School. I'm excited today because not only are we having this podcast, but I'm also having an opportunity to see former students in a different light. So thank you very much and welcome.
Dr. Moore, what other jobs did you do and which one is your favorite and why?
Prior to being the Assistant Superintendent, as I said, I was a principal at Silver Run School. I worked for the State Department with Abbott implementation and regulations. Part of that was helping schools to budget their funds for state initiatives. I was a vice principal in Camden, and I was also a teacher. And my favorite job, I would have to say my favorite of all of those so far would be principal, because I had an opportunity to be with a lot of students. Thank you.
Dr. Gentile, on your blog, what small businesses are you a owner of?
That's a great question. It shows you've done your research. So essentially, I started a little business. The name of the business is Tailored Educational Designs, and it's basically a business where anyone who wants my assistance in anything education, whether it's parents who are having trouble or want an edge with their own child, and they want to talk and meet about how they can improve how their child's doing in school, or I can also go out to schools and work with schools and other teachers. It's a side job because my main priority is being the superintendent of Millville Schools, and as you can imagine, that is a full-time job. So the small business is something that I'm just getting started with. It's something that's only on the side. Again, my heart and soul right now is trying to take care of and be responsible to the Millville School District. So, good research. You did good. So.
Dr. Cook, how does it feel to be a writer on the TeacherCast network?
Well, I love the fact that I'm on the TeacherCast network because what that network does is it allows my blogs to be viewed and read by a larger audience. And I think that one of the things that I specifically try to work in for my blog is to have it be a reflection as to the things that are going on here and in my personal life. So it's the ability for me to tell our story. So the fact that TeacherCast helps me to get the blog out to more people just makes things even that much better so that they could tell our story.
Yeah.
take some questions from the audience. Alexis.
Dr. Gentile, was Coach a good teacher and why?
I think your question is, was Coach Mazzara a good teacher and why? He was an excellent teacher, and I would say is an excellent teacher. But when I had him growing up here at Bacon School, I had him as my physical education teacher from the time I was in kindergarten until the time I hit 6th grade. And why do I think he was a great teacher? He always, it was easy to tell that he cared about his students. He had a real connection with all of us. We knew that he wanted us to do our best. He was going to hold us accountable. He was going to make sure that we tried to be the best we could be. And he also had a lot of fun.
Okay. In your blog, what did you mean by Portuguese Water Dog?
A Portuguese Water Dog. That's another good question. My family purchased a puppy about a year ago. And the breed of dog is a Portuguese Water Dog. If you've ever seen President Obama's family dog that they brought home to the White House, it's the same breed as that. I don't know if President Obama is having the same trouble that I'm having with my dog, but my dog is very hard to train. He's very hyper, a lot of energy, and he also likes to chew everything, from socks to shoes to most recently he ate a bucket. Yes, a bucket. And I don't know how that's going to work out, but he tore it apart. But he's a great dog. He's got a lot of energy. We named him Captain Jack Sparrow because the Portuguese Water Dogs are also nicknamed pirate dogs because they, years ago, and I think still somewhat today, but in the Portuguese culture, they were used in the shipping. When they'd go out and do fishing, they would help work the boats and help the fishermen bring in their nets, which is partly why he's hyper. He has a lot of energy, and they're used to working all day long. So if they don't get enough energy, look out.
Thank you. Z.
This is for everybody. Is your job important to you? If so, why?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. My job is very important to me, and one of the reasons why it's most important is because I have an opportunity to help shape the education in this school district, and it gives me an opportunity to look into your eyes and know that everything that I am putting into place will affect your future. So if I don't do a good job with my job, then you may have a harder time later on in your life doing a good job with your job. So it's important to me to be on my best game every single day to make sure I offer you the very best opportunity for your future.
Thank you.
My job is very important to me for many reasons. I'll start with the personal reasons. I have a family. I have a wife. I have 2 children. They sort of depend on me to be able to provide for them. So having a job is important, period. Why is this job in particular very important to me? A lot of what Dr. Moore said is true. Our job, sort of being the principal of the district, sort of in charge of everything, is to make sure that your principals, your teachers, everybody in the district has what they need to do a good job, has a plan for how they're going to learn and hopefully help you guys be the best you can be so that someday you'll have a job that you love. Right? So I think that's why it's important. It's not always easy, but it's important.
Thank you.
I think I have an extremely important job because as a principal, I want to make sure that we are having the best learning environment, that it's fun, and that it's a place that you guys are always going to remember. So it's pretty clear as to why I need to come to work every day and participate and be out there in the classrooms to see the great things that are going on. The reason why it's important is because of you all.
Thank you. Abby.
Dr. Gentile, what have you done before you were a superintendent?
Before I was a superintendent, I was a principal of a middle school. And before that, I was an assistant principal of the same middle school. And before that, I was a teacher here in Millville. I taught 4th grade at Holly Heights, and that's what I did. You want to go all the way back? I can keep going. I had a few part-time jobs, but just career-wise, right? Thank you, Abby. That was cute.
Isaiah.
What made you want to be a superintendent?
No. Well, I think it's a good question. The reason I'm sort of laughing a little bit is I don't think that I ever set out in my mind early on that I wanted to be a superintendent. What I really wanted to do was teach, and I wanted to be with kids, and that was my first love and my passion. When I first started teaching, I loved it. It was wonderful. And as I did a good job as a teacher, people maybe saw something in me. They thought maybe I had leadership ability, and I was encouraged, hey, maybe you should look into being an administrator. Maybe you could be a principal someday. And then, from there, when I became a principal, someone said, you probably should consider being a superintendent. And the reason why I wanted to be a superintendent and why I accepted it is sort of, I feel like in a classroom when I was a teacher, I could really help the lives of about 25 kids, and I could each year do a nice job with that. And hopefully, if I do things right as a superintendent and as an administrator, I get to help many more students. We have over 6,000 kids in the district. So if I do a good job, I provide what all the teachers need, what you need, we have a good plan, hopefully everybody will enjoy school. So that's why.
Question 2.
Oh. Kids are tough.
For Dr. Cook, Dr. Gentile, and Dr. Did you like it when you went to the Emmy Awards?
I'll start out with, I thought going to the BAMI Awards was amazing. It's the first time that, actually I should say this, it was the second time I was on a red carpet, because the first time I was on a red carpet was here at Bacon School. And if you remember, for our opening day. When I got the opportunity to do that, I felt like it was a great opportunity for us and to represent our school district for the great things that we're trying to do here, and to get the message out that Millville Public Schools is a great place to educate children. That's why we call ourselves world class. So why not attend a world class event?
I would say that I enjoyed going to the BAMIs because I like the concept of it, which is to celebrate educators, teachers were there, anyone who's an educator was there, and they were celebrated sort of the way we celebrate our rock stars, our movie stars, our sports athletes, right? Most of the time we don't think of teachers or principals or superintendents being on a red carpet, being recognized and given credit for all the hard work that they do with the same way that, say, our own hometown Mike Trout is being celebrated, right? So that's why I liked going.
I liked going also for the reasons that Dr. Cook and Dr. Gentile mentioned. But I have 2 other reasons that I liked going, and one of them was I had an opportunity to spend some time with Dr. Gentile and Dr. Cook, which I don't get a chance to do often. We find ourselves very busy doing the jobs that we do here in the district, so we don't have an opportunity to sit and talk with each other and share some of the ideas that will help move our district forward and help move our district towards our vision of being world class. But my second reason was I got to dress up. I got to wear a beautiful gown, and I had the pleasure of having not just these 2 handsome gentlemen on my arm, but my husband as well. So those are my top 2 reasons and my other 2 reasons.
Tashira.
Dr. Moore, do you miss being a principal at Silver Run?
I miss being a principal at Silver Run every single day. But what helps me get through missing that is the fact that I get to visit all of the other schools in the district. So not only do I get a chance to see my Silver Run students at Silver Run, but I get to see them at Bacon, and I get to see them at the next level at Lakeside, Memorial, and at the high school. So that helps me not be so sad every day, knowing that I get to see my children all the way up through high school.
What school did you enjoy the most?
What school in Millville?
Careful.
Well, I would have to say The school I enjoyed the most would be
The one you're sitting in.
the one that I am currently sitting in.
That's a good answer. Bacon's
Great.
Bacon School is the school I currently enjoy the most, but I spent the most time at Silver Run. So
Kind of even.
both, but having an opportunity to visit all of the schools, it's hard to pick a favorite because they're all wonderful schools.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Allie.
Dr. Moore, I want to know about the plans you have for the school.
The plans that I have for the school district, I have many plans for the school district, and all of my plans revolve around making sure that we provide a quality education for our students. All of my plans revolve around having our teachers and our administrators learn how to solve problems in our district in a systematic way so that we're truly taking care of what the problem, the root cause of the problem is, so we can focus more on instruction and focus more on getting you the very best education that we can. Everything I do is designed around that.
How long are you going to be here until someone else takes your place?
How long will I be here?
Yes, Dr. Moore.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Well, let me just say this. I've been in Millville for 12 years, and out of all of the places that I've ever been, this is my favorite place to be. It is my plan to retire from the Millville School District, so I plan to be here until that time. Oh my, another hard question. Go ahead.
Are you? This is for Dr. Gentile.
Thank goodness.
The same one that I told her. How long are you going to be?
Yes, how long are you going to be here?
Okay, so being a superintendent is slightly different than almost every other position that I've had. When you're a superintendent, you're given a contract. Your contract is 3 years or 5 years, nothing in between and nothing more. So at the end of the term of the contract, the Board of Education, and the Board of Education is made up of your parents, maybe on the board, it's community members, right? And at the end of my contract, they decide whether or not they want to keep me on, right? So I will be here as long as the board would like to keep me, and that I feel like I'm still having a positive impact on the kids and the staff. Millville's home, so I don't have any plans on going anywhere, but you never know what the Board of Education, I have bosses to answer to.
Okay.
So if you know any board members, put in a good word for me,
This is the
okay?
last one. Like, it's for the 3-year-old. Were you excited when you started to be a principal?
I'll start with that one. I was extremely excited. I remember getting the phone call from Dr. Gentile offering me the position and saying that the board had approved me. I was just extremely excited, and I think that has not worn off yet. So I love being a principal. I come in here every day. It's one of the best jobs I've ever had.
The same. I think every new position I've had, including being principal, has been exciting. I think once the excitement wears off and the reality sets in, and then you start outlining what you have to do, how much work you have to do, and you get it done.
And I'm as excited today as the first day I stepped in Millville on August 23rd, 2001.
Anthony.
I like cat. I got a question from Miss. 3 questions from Miss Morgan. 4 questions for
It's okay. Dr. G, Dr. Gentile.
Gentile.
Yes, sir.
Why did you want to be a superintendent at first?
I didn't. I was very happy being a teacher. But my story is very similar to Dr. Gentile's. My principal at the time saw something in me, and she encouraged me to go back to school to get my master's degree in educational leadership. And once I got that degree in educational leadership, she started pushing me towards getting administrative jobs. So I was very happy being a teacher, but my life has taken a path that has led me into leadership. So I try and follow the path that's laid out for me.
When you got called to be a superintendent, what was your reaction?
Well, I'm the assistant superintendent, but I can tell you what my reaction was, and I remember exactly where I was when I found out that I got the job. I was extremely excited. I was nervous. I was filled with concern that maybe I wouldn't be able to do a good job. But overall, I was extremely excited.
What do you mostly do?
Whew.
What do you do?
What do I do? A better question is, what don't I do?
That's right.
My primary job is curriculum and instruction. I'm responsible for all teaching and learning that goes on in the district. So whatever it is you have in your desk, I'm responsible for making sure that the teachers get that information to you. I'm also responsible for professional development. I'm responsible for the AVID program, the Substance Abuse Coordination Program. I meet with a lot of people. I visit a lot of schools and teachers. I have a lot of things, and in our next podcast, I'll continue to tell you the other things that I do.
Dr. Gentile, do you mostly work with papers?
Do I work mostly with papers? Well, there is a lot of paperwork involved with what I do. There are a lot of reports that have to be written. There's a lot of documents that need to be read. But no, my primary job is and always will be people. So being around the staff, being in classrooms as often as I can, that's what my job is. It's all about relationships and trying to make what you do in the classroom fun and exciting. I think the fact that we're sitting in a classroom where you have basically turned it into a TV studio, I think that's pretty cool.
What do you think of going to the school?
What do I think about coming to this school?
Doing something.
Okay. Somebody help me with the question. I don't know if I heard it correctly. What do I think about what I'm
Doing to the school.
doing to this school? Well, I think what we want to do for all of our schools is to respect the tradition of where we've been and what we've done, and be proud of, for you guys, being proud of being Bacon Bears. We want to look to the future, though, and how can we make things better?
We'll do one more question in the back.
Dr. Gentile, how many years have you been a teacher?
I was a teacher for only 4 years. Actually, that's not correct. I apologize. It was closer to 6 years. I'm sorry. I was a teacher for about 6 years. I was a teacher in Millville for about 4.
Dr. Cook, Dr. Gentile, Dr. Moore. That is the end of our interview. On behalf of R.M. Bacon Elementary School, I would like to thank you for your time.
You are most welcome, and I'd like to
Thank you
thank
very
you for moderating,
Thank you very much.
and all of you for your great questions.
Thank you out in our podcast land for joining us today. My name is Layla. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Let's give a round of applause to Layla.
Yeah, great job, Larry.
One more time. Thank you guys so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Tough questions out there,
Yeah.
guys.
So
Good
we're
job.
going to turn the tables. We're going to do a flipped classroom model where actually we're going to ask our 3 guests if they have any questions for the class about their experiences today.
I do have a question. I would like, if somebody out there, just think about this, but what do you think you learned from this experience? What do you think you learned about this experience? Either about technology, about us, or about yourselves. What do you think you learned? You learned something new about us, right? What was one thing you thought was interesting?
I got you guys becoming a superintendent.
Like how we became? Okay. One other. What else? What'd you learn?
Randy?
I learned that you guys are really mostly important to us because if you guys do something wrong, you guys yeah.
You're doing good. Okay. Great.
Well, let me ask a follow-up question. I know that you learned a lot about us today, and we're always excited to share with you anything about us and anything that we can do to help you along the way. But what did you learn about this experience today with podcasting and working with technology and being able to learn and share with people around the world through this small piece of equipment? Yes. Can I reword it? Yes. Through this podcasting that you learned how to do today, tell me something that you learned about it.
Your history.
Not about us.
Oh.
I am most concerned about what you learned about this, how to do this. Take us out of this completely.
And maybe why do you think it was important to do this? Why was it good to do this? What did you have to do to come up with your questions? Think?
Brainstorm.
Right. What about Diamond? Okay.
So you prepared yourself. Yeah, you had to do practice run-throughs. How did you come up with your questions? I think that's an interesting one for me. I mean, you guys asked me things that I never thought you'd know today. I thought that was awesome. But how did you do it?
We went on your blog and we found some stuff about both of you.
So you did, what do we call that? Research, right? That's great. That's great. Any questions?
What do you think about people who are watching this learning about us and our district? Do you think that they may have heard something today that makes them say, Millville's a pretty good place to be?
Yes.
This young lady in the blue, I don't think I've heard from. Abby.
Can you say that again?
I sure can. What?
Think about this, that somewhere in the world, somebody could be watching this, maybe in China, Japan, all around the world, through that piece of equipment,
How do you think they
right? How cool, well, yeah, describe how you think. Is that an important feeling?
Not from
when
here.
then when they see it, maybe they're going to think, we want to do that too.
That's good. That's good.
I wanted to just commend the class because earlier in the week we talked with them about this opportunity, and they were selected for this out of the classes that are here and that were interested. And I will say that they did a great job of doing research, of going through the interview process prior to even Mr. Bradbury getting here. Mr. Hudson, I should really commend as well, is that he integrated all the things that they learned into language arts, into math, social studies, and science this week, preparing for this and utilizing the technology. So we should give him a round of applause. Let's give Mr. Hudson a round of applause. And then working with Mr. Bradbury today, the kids have been really working on this pretty much all day as far as setting up and making sure that the lighting was correct, that the microphones were correct, that the video is okay. And they really should be commended for their hard work, because this was a great opportunity, I think, for you guys to show the world what you've learned. I think you've learned a lot more than just about, what our favorite job is. I think that that you guys have learned a lot more than just that.
I'll tell you, you've learned something that I don't know how to do. I haven't learned how to do a podcast yet, and I'm looking forward to coming back and having you all teach me what I should do to set up a podcast. So I'm hoping you're looking forward to having me come back and that you'll be able to teach me how to do this.
Can somebody tell Dr. Moore and Dr. Gentile how you already did a mini podcast with the materials that you have here? Not that what Mr. Bradbury brought, but what you did on Monday, Alexis?
The smart board. You used the smart board.
Okay, you want to explain that a little bit?
We interviewed Dr. Cook, and we used the smart board to record it.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
And then what did you do with that file?
We saved it and
put it on a blog.
tried to put it on a blog, but we couldn't.
We have to shrink it. It's a big media file, so we're in the process of shrinking it so we can post it on there, so that way they can access it from wherever.
Speaking of your class blog, can you share with Dr. Gentile and Dr. Moore real quick about how far the exposure has gotten?
We got like over 10,000 views.
Wow. Really?
10,028.
Like 10,000.
That's pretty amazing.
And where are some of the states that you've seen, a lot?
Michigan, Morristown, Washington.
And who's running your blog? Mr. Hudson?
Us.
You're running it?
Yeah, they are.
So in addition to me coming back to find out how to do a podcast from you, I'm also going to see if I can learn some tips from you so that I can get my blog seen that many times.
Yeah, that's a lot of views.
Yes, it is. I have to tell you, I'm very excited to hear that.
Very good. And not only are they just blogging, they're embedding videos, they're linking. Mr. Hudson is really challenging them to make sure that they go above and beyond. And boys and girls, can you share with our guests a little bit about what time are you doing this? When do you blog?
Pretty much
All
every
the time.
All
the time. We can go boom and we can blog.
We'll climb in the back.
Stay here and blog.
How about Anthony? Can you share a little bit about when you blog?
Well, I blog all the time.
Yeah.
11:30 at night, 12:30 at night,
Oh my.
1 o'clock in the morning.
1 o'clock in the morning.
Make sure you get your sleep.
I was about to say, Anthony, I want you going to sleep.
But it's good to share your ideas, right?
So you're not just blogging here in school, you're blogging at night on the weekends?
That's great. That's great.
Does anybody have a blog that they like to read? Is not your own, but somebody else's, or who do you follow? Like, what do you guys like to read? Yes, ma'am. You in the front.
I like to read Isaiah.
Isaiah's. Okay.
Why?
Yeah. Why? What about it?
Because he posts through games that sometimes notifications are calm and fun before it rains.
Okay.
I put that down.
And like you get on it, you play, but you learn at the same time.
Okay.
That's great.
Does he share how to do certain things and give you tips? That's cool.
We just had learned that.
I like to interview Anthony H. so I can learn how he skateboards.
Oh, okay. He shows skateboarding tips on there. Okay. That's cool. That's the way they learn now.
I kind of like reading all of yours because it helps to get to know more than just you as a student, but you as a person. So whether you're putting on there how to help me with multiplication or editing my work when I make mistakes.
When you do it on purpose.
Right. But I get to know you as a person because when you write your fact and opinions, I left that open, and a lot of you guys put videos or pictures or sentences where you made a cause and effect or fact and opinion about me. That was funny. So it's interesting for me to get to see you guys other than just sitting in your desk, but you also as a person.
I was looking at the one blog. It said, I forget what it said. It said some. I think Alexis put it.
I punched Jose in the face.
Yeah.
Your brother?
Can I try to picture?
I like your
It always
picture.
comes down to punching somebody.
What? You actually got the actual picture?
Well, what happens to a post that's not so good,
Delete it.
right?
Yeah.
So there
If you
are.
like punching things, maybe there's a sport you could try. Boxing, MMA. You could
Yeah,
try
not Jose. We need Jose.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't punch him anymore.
You probably scared.
No new rule. No punching Jose.
Right.
Do you guys have any more questions for them, or do you guys have any more questions for them?
Two questions.
Let's do two more questions.
Two more.
I like the kid here with you. Yeah, you asked some really good questions.
And what's your name again? Randy.
Randy.
Nice to meet you, Randy.
Dr. Moore, in your blog, The Brain Game, why do you like the book?
One of the reasons why I like that book was because it talks about how to start accepting responsibility for some of the things we do. We get very caught up in wanting to blame other people, and it's easy to blame other people for things because it takes the responsibility from away from us. And when I was at Silver, I would hear things like, Well, he made me do it because he made me laugh. And we would talk about how you have to accept responsibility for what you did. No one can make you do anything. And the sad thing is, even as you become an adult, adults do the same thing. They blame other people for things, and they try and step back from the responsibility. And all I want people to do is accept responsibility for what they've done, and that way we can fix it and move on. Thank you for asking.
This wonderful young lady here was our cameraman too, camerawoman.
Dr. Moore, have you ever been a teacher in Bacon School?
I never had the privilege of being a teacher at Bacon School.
We'll do one last one right here.
So, Dr. Moore, how did it feel to be a first grade teacher and why?
I loved being a first grade teacher because I had an opportunity to get children when they were just learning how to read and just learning how to do math. And I hope that I was as good a first grade teacher as Mr. Hudson was when he was a first grade teacher.
How about that?
Yeah.
Let's
think you
give
made
one
it
big
blush.
round of applause. And also, I think most importantly, let's give a hand to your teacher. Thank you so much.
If I can, I just want to say one last thing to Mr. Hudson, to the class, to sort of everybody. Guys, how many of you have ever done this before? This exact type of experience? Probably nobody. You did something similar, but you never did this before. So it's something new, right? Taking a risk, trying something different is something that can either go really bad or really good, but either way, it's important for us to take risks, try new things, try to do things differently, and every experience will help shape who you are and make you a better person. So I want to thank you and your teacher, your principal, for trying to do something different. So kudos, which means way to go.
Great job.